Rapport, and you see how he shakes his head. He knew he had that one. He should have won it, and he lets a good chance go begging.
Yeah, and whether it was the moment where he took that pawn on a6, it's hard to pinpoint one moment specifically, but yet another very fine, one could say just superb defensive effort by Nihal, who he never really seemed like he was that worried about his position. And they are repeating, by and large, the double fianchetto King's Indian line that we saw. But if memory serves me right, Rapport didn't go d5 that early in that other game.
But I do seem to remember that I wanted him to.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah,
your advice.
Rapport just getting those pawns up in the middle. He's saying, I need to win some games. I might as well win with the black pieces. Rapport's placement of the pawns in the middle. And we're going to have a good fight, a good struggle between these two different philosophies.
Yeah, I'm more of a fianchettoist. Well, as you know, I play the King's Indian, so I'm sort of a card carrying a member of the fianchetto club. At the same time, you know, fianchettoing can backfire spectacularly in many instances when the fianchettoed bishop is traded, or you know when the bishops are immobilized. Okay, here we see a battle down the A file, which Nihal wins. Now he's got temporary control of that file. What does that give him? Maybe not much. Maybe he should go rook c1, knight a4, trading off black's strong knight on c5. Okay, so maybe knight fd7.
Well, he's going for trickery. If Rapport now captures the white knight, white will not capture back. Instead, white will capture in the middle of the board, creating an attack on the black queen and both the black knights at the same time. So here the trickery of Sarin strikes again, and it forces Rapport into a think. And Rapport actually decides on retreating his knight and going into more of a defensive stance.
One of the good things about the two fianchettoed bishops is that black has blunted one of them with the move d4, but in doing so, he's just, mathematically speaking, necessarily opened up the other. And Nihal immediately repositions the first bishop to a3. I think he's ultimately maybe aiming at this d6 square, bishop h6, both sides unfianchettoing their dark squared bishops.
But making good threats with them. And look at the evaluation bar right now. I don't even know what's going on.
I think I think it might have something to do, Hammer, with the A file. I feel like white's got so many vulnerable pieces on that file. Nihal just underestimated queen a7 followed by rook a8. He might lose a piece here. I mean, knight b2 and even just bishop takes d2 and then rook a8. And you're just not going to be able to defend this bishop because the queen is undefended. And I guess we have our answer as to whose strategy has prevailed.
A shocker for Nihal. This could be the second win with the black pieces for Richard Rapport. What is going on in this match? Why are they winning with the black pieces? His strategy is working, at least. He's just putting his pieces in the middle, putting his pawns where they belong. And he's taking the opportunities he's given now. Nihal moves his bishop so that the queen offers some defense to the knight. But what about that rook moving over?
Oh, but after rook a8, he's not actually threatening queen takes a4 because of this rook c8 idea. The problem for white is that there's just no way to... Like, black's going to go king g7 on the next move and prepare... Queen takes a4. So Nihal goes queen a3. And I'm not sure how that helps. Yeah, but this is nice.
It protects the bishop in case of the trickery with queen takes knight. But Richard has 3 minutes here to figure out the best way of kind of dealing with Nihal's scary ideas. I like your move, Danya. Just moving the king up in preparation of avoiding that white rook coming down to give a scary check.
Yeah, I just don't see how white produces any compensation for the piece. And perhaps white will be able to take b7 at the end. That's going to be a moot point. Bishop f8. A similar idea in the spirit, because he's covering the 8th rank, making sure that rook c8 doesn't come with check. This probably also works.
I think maybe it's even better.
Even better, yeah.
Yeah.
Just smoother.
And Sarin with the knight and queen both stuck on the side of the board. The knight cannot move without the queen being captured. But at the same time, the knight cannot be defended. He's going to lose this one.
Yeah,
and Rapport is going to equalize the match for a second time.
And that's impressive. We've got 25 minutes left in the 5-minute portion. It's been impossible to talk about anybody jumping out, with a big lead or with serious momentum. This game in particular, Rapport just felt sharp. It just felt like he was, even the last 2 games. I mean, maybe in the last game he botched that advantage, but still he managed to get a big advantage out of the opening. Never an easy task against Nihal. And in this game, fully neutralizing the double Fianchetto strategy. I think he played d5 at the right moment and then immediately spotting the hidden flaw in white's position. But let's count the eggs after they've hatched. A couple more accurate moves required. We know what Nihal is capable of, and Rihard understands that as well.
Yeah, rook b4. By far my choice
stop
here.
The pawn.
Just get that rook pointing towards the white pawn, making sure that pawn doesn't run away. Yes, Nihal tries to defend it, but here, look at this black knight coming into the position. The knight is now ready to capture the dangerous white pawn on the left side. That should be enough to win the game.
Yeah, knight takes b5, and eventually you bring the other knight out from f8.
Yeah, it might take. Yeah, I was going to say you might have to be a little bit careful because there's a white knight trying to get an attack on the black pawn in the center. But there were tactical reasons for why Sarin couldn't capture the black knight with his bishop and then going after the pawn. Whereas now the black pawn in the middle is just well defended by the rook.
Yeah, but I agree. If you lose this pawn, then things actually start getting dicey. So you want to make sure it's overprotected. And eventually you want to involve the other knight. Okay, so he's trying to find the best arrangement of his pieces. I think before going knight d7 and, okay, king g7, same concept. Get the king to f6, then eventually get the knight to e5. These positions are always winning, but they always take a while. Okay, knight e5.
I mean, there's no chance Nihal survives this, right?
Not this. I mean, I never say never with Nihal.
Because you were talking about some miracles in his previous match against Gristro.
I think Hess and I were commentating that one, and there were games where we were saying the same thing. I mean, there's just no way he survives this. He's getting mated and he's down a piece. But the things that he found in time scrambles are beyond insane. What's really helping Rapport here is the clock situation. He's got over a minute. And I think almost a prerequisite for holding these positions is getting your opponent into acute time pressure.
And that is not happening here. If anyone's low on time, it's actually Sarin himself, down 30 seconds. And he moves his bishop into the corner. Not sure
trying
what
to
the
mix
idea
things
was
up
there.
somehow. Just trying to confuse black, I think. But black still has to consolidate. I would just play king f6 at some point and ask this knight where it's going. Yeah, and the trade should be in black's favor. Rook c8 is a very nice move too.
More trades of the pieces favor the one in the otherwise winning position, whereas trade of pawns would favor the defending side, which is why Nihal is so desperately trying to get rid of that black pawn in the middle. If he were to succeed there, he may have some chances to hold on. But as long as the the black pawn in the middle survives, so does the winning position.
Right. And the question, I guess, here is how to position the knights. How do you actually dislodge white's bishop from c4, and how do you make progress? I guess you can play knight e5 and then rook d7, get that rook out of the 7th rank, and that gives you a little bit more freedom to maneuver. Rook bishop e5, though, not allowing rook d7. I would just go rook b6.
I'm amazed he's still alive.
Or rook f6.
I'm amazed this game is still going on. It feels like Rapport should have been able to kind of lay down the law earlier than this. But
look at that trick.
He's getting there.
Rook f6 would have run into f4, and the knight is actually trapped. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, he finds this stuff in any position.
What just happened?
Oh my goodness!
Look at his reaction.
Wait a second! Oh my god! He blundered a piece. Oh my lands. That is just crazy. Rook c5, setting that up, and Rapport obliviously playing rook d6, falling asleep.
And now both players have 11 seconds left. I mean, Rapport might even lose this game. Never mind the fact that he gave away his win. In the scramble, 8 seconds versus 8 seconds, you're gonna put your money into the Nihal Sarin fund.
Yeah, well, because first of all, the d4 pawn is now weak. The rook is tied down. White is not worse here. I would take white. Bishop d5, bishop e4. Now, it's possible Nihal just says, I'm taking the draw.
No.